That's big business. Hit town, but that's big pimpin'. My potential, that's infinite. Pin game insane. Make hits like King Griffin, the 10th inning.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the 10th Inning Podcast, episode 28, the Daniel Murphy episode.
That's
These
right.
are the Mets. I'm not sure what number he had with the other teams, but as always, I'm Sean. For Dan, how you doing, Dan?
I'm doing well. This is a stress ball of sorts. Today, we've never had him. We're waiting for the right moment, and I think today's the day, Sean. Juan Soto finally gets a magazine cover for the greatest baseball podcast out there. Long overdue, if you're asking me.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
And any indication on why he would be getting the cover today, Sean? What are we going to be talking about?
Well, really, today it's kind of our first episode post ranking, so we got a little bit of a smorgasbord here. But one of the topics we're going to discuss is our projected NL and AL MVPs, and I think Dan and I might be in accord here with who we have the National League MVP going to.
Could be.
You'll see. I mean, this episode, just to give you guys a rundown, we're going to talk about some free agent signings, most notably post CBA being signed, post lockout. Pick our division winners, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young Award winners, obviously MVPs, and anything else really along the way. It's going to be an interesting episode. It really will be.
I am not yawning some bored. I'm yawning because it has been a long week. It is Sunday. Me and Sean normally record earlier in the week, but we just didn't find time. Honestly, I feel like it's been a long time. You guys won't notice a time difference, but for me, we normally record like Wednesday, and then it comes out Monday. And then we're back recording Wednesday again. We recorded last episode, I guess, a week and a half, almost 2 weeks ago, technically. So it's a long time since I'm back in the seat here, Sean. I got to get focused in.
Feels good to be back. Feels good to
be back. Where are we going first?
I think we should start with some of the, in our opinion, more notable free agent signings and maybe even trades post lockout here.
I love it. Would you like me to start with something? Do you want to start with something?
Why don't you start with one, and then I'll come back with my own after.
Sure. So I had a couple of storylines of some interesting things I think maybe has gone under the radar. Two different storylines. The first one is the Angels. Okay, forever a playoff team on paper, never a playoff team in real life. Usually due to pitching, starting rotation-wise at least, and their bullpen's been pretty shitty as well. However, give me 1 second here. I gotta say, the Angels had a sneaky offseason with free agent signings and relievers. They really beefed up their pen. I'm gonna throw a couple names at you as I scroll down the list here and find them. They signed Bryce Hill Iglesias back, which you might say that's not really a signing. All they did is retained him. Yeah, but they signed up for like 4 extra years, and I think, like we discussed last episode, he's like one of the top 3 relievers in the game. They also brought in, Aaron Loup. Sean, you have some familiarity with Aaron Loup.
Yeah.
I think one of the better lefties in the league. Really burst onto the scene last year, especially when you get to postseason time. I know there's the rule, obviously, that they can't just do matchups anymore as much as we used to, but I think Aaron Loup is filthy, especially let's say we get a LA World Series. We know how much the Dodgers love their lefty hitters.
Yeah,
that could be a filthy situation back there. Moving down the list, they got Ryan Tepera, a guy who made my just miss of the best relievers, not even a closer. He burst onto the scene last year, had a really good year. They signed him. They also brought in, I believe there was one more. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anybody. They brought in Michael Lorenzen.
Great hitter.
Okay. And there's one more after Lorenzen, too. I knew it was a lot. But also like a decent arm. One of the most jacked players in the MLB, right? Trevor Bauer type mindset, and take that with a grain of salt, as in he's a lot about improving himself. Trevor Bauer mindset on the field. Like he's always trying to improve himself, and I like that of someone, especially in a relief role. And he's going to be like a middle reliever based on the pen. And they also brought in Archie Bradley. 2 years ago, one of the best relievers in the game with Arizona. Another guy that's just a gamer, great beard.
Oh, absolutely.
Triple in a playoff game. Was that the wild card game?
Yeah, wild card game. Yeah.
I mean, this is a guy who has like closing experience and that kind of mentality and demeanor. That's like 5 like names that they added to their pen. When you don't have great starting pitching, if you can cut the game to 5 or 6 innings like the Yankees were doing in 2017, 2018, like teams with really great bullpens can do, I think that's a viable second option to not having as much starting pitching, which they still did add it to. But that's just a storyline I want to throw out there. I don't think people are noticing.
No, I agree. It is no one's really talking about it, and frankly, I think people have kind of taken the Angels pretty much off their radar because of their past performances. But they are a good team. Offensively, and starting pitching, obviously, like you said, is not the best, but their bullpen arms, they've addressed a major issue. We'll see if it pans out because, as we said last week, with bullpen arms, they're very hit or miss, quite literally. And we'll see what happens. Another little not fun for the Angels, but a little quirk. I don't even know if quirk, but anyway, after the Angels DFA'd Justin Upton yesterday, he's owed $20 million this year. Between him and Albert Pujols, the LA Angels have, I think, close to $78 million dead money on their cap, paying 2 players to not play for them anymore. That's a tough thing to have. It limits your financial flexibility, and they're already paying Mike Trout a lot of money, and they have big contracts with Anthony Rendon as well. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're still paying Josh Hamilton some way, shape, or form.
Right.
But the Angels are, we say this every year, team to watch. We pray Mike Trout stays healthy next year. We pray Shohei Ohtani stays healthy and plays anywhere close to what he did last year. But yeah, I like you bringing them up.
I gotta say Bobby Bonilla. I just gotta say that name.
Bobby Bonilla, yeah, that's a legend. One signing that I want to discuss as well. We'll run through a bunch of them, but one that I just kind of want to get off the bat here. Colorado Rockies and Chris Bryant. That contract makes no sense for either side. Chris Bryant, if he ever says he's all about winning again in his career, that he's a straight up liar. Because who goes to Colorado to win? And this comes where the Rockies come into play. They got rid of Arenado. They didn't re-sign Trevor Story, who we'll talk about a little bit later as well. They've done every move to make it look like they don't want to win, and then they bring in Chris Bryant on a 7-year, $182 million deal. First of all, I don't think Chris Bryant is that good anymore. Colorado is kind of where players go to die, to put it bluntly. The deal doesn't really – the Rockies are going to be like they are every year, 10 to 12 games under 500, third in the NL West. Fourth in the NL West. I forgot about the Giants. I don't understand this move. And if their reasoning is to put people in the seats, then why didn't you just keep Arenado or Trevor Story, 2 guys who wanted to stay with the Rockies, instead of get rid of them, and then sign Chris Bryant, who was box office name at one point, but to me personally, not anymore. That just made no sense to me whatsoever.
I got for the first time ever, I have nothing else to add. It's just an odd signing. I believe there is opt-outs in it. I think they did him a favor by guaranteeing him money that's at some point another team will have to take on. I don't like he's opting out or traded within the next year or two.
I saw someone on Twitter saying that, I can't wait for Chris Bryant to be in the trade deadline rumor mill for the next 3 years. Like, that's what's going to happen. He's not going to be there for more than 3 years at most, I think.
Chris basically said, well, no one's going to give me this money, so let's make it this person's problem for the next 3 months until he ships my contract somewhere else. I'm still guaranteed the money, so what do I care?
Yeah.
Don't understand it from the Rockies side whatsoever.
No.
I had one other kind of storyline I wanted to highlight. Not that this is as underrated as the Angels thing, but the Phillies had I've been all with you with the 4th place Phils, forever. Everyone keeps saying, the Phillies are going to make the playoffs. Famously, I won $20 on a bet that the Phillies wouldn't make the playoffs even in the 2020 season with 16 teams in it. Thank you. Just grossly overrated the last 3 or 4 years. I think the Phillies have a real shot this year, and I think they had a crazy good underrated offseason.
Yeah.
Just to talk about some names they brought in, Nick Castellanos and Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah.
Geez, Sean, their defense is going to be rough. And maybe I'm blinded by them making more fantasy moves here, with the offense taking the charge. Defense is going to, I mean, putting those two people on the field is going to be a tough time, especially when you already have people like Reese and other people on the team. Someone's going to have to play the field. But those guys, they're also two players that I'm really high on, especially coming into this year. I think they could even improve and get better. There were a couple other signings that they made that were kind of sneaky to me. Let me just look down. They got Corey Knebel, Dodgers reliever from last year. They've had some bullpen issues. I think that could help stir it up a little bit, at least add another arm some depth. They also added to their bullpen Brad Hand and Yuris Familia. Two guys that kind of have stigmas against them, right? I love the Angels signings. I think those are all guys. These guys are very high variance to me. With Yuris Familia. Right.
Both of them.
That's kind of why. Yuris Familia has been like the most dominant, but he's also been the most headache to watch, the worst reliever in the game, as well as Brad Hand. Brad Hand's a lefty as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that they brought in a lefty, but Brad Hand was like known to the Guardians or the Indians, whatever, at that point, like the most volatile closer of all time, where like he had stretched the dominance and then like let up 16 homers in a row, like the type situation. Was obvious exaggerations, but like those are still two arms. If you hit on one of them, it's better than what they had. They really had no bullpen. Their lineup is just so deep now, Sean, with Harper, Hoskins, Real Muto, Castellanos, Schwarber. Like those are all going to be stacked.
Yeah.
In a row, and I'm forgetting someone, I'm sure, but like
they still have Segura too, Gene Segura, who's still an offensive bat. And Didi, right?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Sean. No wonder why I think they're making the playoffs. I might have them go to the World Series. Who do they have playing at center?
In center? They still have Michael Franco.
I don't think so. It's probably Shane Victorino, Sean. I'm going to say Shane.
He's coming back with double year flat.
Yeah, I don't know who they have playing in center, but they got an offense is all I'm going to say. I'm excited for the Phillies this year. I've never said that before.
Yeah, I know it pains me to say that, the Phillies, but I think they had an outstanding offseason. They also signed Kyle Schwarber, as you said, who's a certified Met killer, so that'll help. Also, that ballpark is not big, so Schwarber, I like to see how many homers he can hit there. And that, I guess, is a good thing in a sense, why they don't have very good defense in the outfield. There's not a lot of ground to cover out there, which helps. But when you have Rhys Hoskins, Kyle Schwarber, and Nick Castellanos in the outfield, you're going to have to take the good with the bad, offensively on the good, and then defensively the bad. But I think they did have a really good offseason, and they kind of had to, because they put so many eggs in their basket that they have Harper long-term, Real Muto long-term, Wheeler long-term, big contracts. They got to win now because they don't have a good farm system. So they got to kind of supplement the lack of farm system with some ready to, win now players. But I think they did a good job doing that. The bullpen, as you said, is still an issue. It's been an issue for a while. For whatever reason, they don't want to address it. I mean, they did sign some guys this year, as you said, but the guys have an up and down track record. Brad Hand was one of the best closers in the game a couple years ago, and then last year went to the Nationals, and then the Mets got him off the waiver wire, and he had like an ERA of like 7. So you really don't know what you're going to get. But that is a unique storyline coming into the season, and I do have them making the playoffs, as we'll discuss later. But yeah, I agree. I think that's interesting. And if you don't mind, I'll go into one of my little storylines here.
I'm going to cut you off for 10 seconds.
Okay,
Just
gotcha.
You reminded me of something by saying Zach Wheeler. Okay. I also think that their starting rotation is going to be – they didn't make any additions, but I think they're going to be much improved. I think Wheeler has a slightly worse but similar year to last year. They now have 2 frontline starters. I think Nola bounces back. We've discussed that already. And Ranger Suarez, who they kind of got midway through last season as he came up, really did well over like 100 and something innings. So if he can turn into a solid 3 starter or even like a low 2 in that 3rd spot, you're talking about a more formidable rotation than they've had in a long time, filling out with like Kyle Gibson, Zach Eflin, guys who can be okay 4 or 5 guys.
Yeah, absolutely. So next thing I want to talk about real quick is Freddie Freeman, signing with the Dodgers, obviously. That was a weird situation with the Braves. He's basically been their franchise icon for over 10 years, been there through thick and thin. Won the World Series last year, was one of the major catalyst for that. And for whatever reason, they didn't want to bring him back, which didn't make a lot of sense because I believe the Dodgers are paying him less money than what the Braves are paying Matt Olson, which I know Matt Olson's younger, but I don't think that Matt Olson comes anywhere close to Freddie Freeman as far as all-around player. Yeah, he may have more pop, more RBIs and all that, but average in defense, not anywhere close to what Freddie Freeman brings to the table. Nonetheless, he signed with the Dodgers on a 6-year, $162 million deal. Dodgers are absolutely stacked. Good for them, honestly. They really knocked it out of the park, no pun intended. The Braves are still going to be good. Matt Olson's a very good player, as we discussed earlier a while ago in the first baseman ranking. But Freddie Freeman, you can't overstate the effect he has on the clubhouse. He's been with that organization for such a long time. He understands it. And then to win a World Series finally and then be gone the next year. I can imagine he was very reluctant signing elsewhere. I can only imagine he really wanted to come back to the Braves. But he's in a great situation in LA, and they're obviously, I mean, even if they didn't sign him, they would have been a frontline contender for the World Series. And now they did sign him. They got to be the odds-on favorite to win it all, I think.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I mean, I've been noted on this podcast and on my Twitter saying, basically all off season, earlier in the year, especially God, please don't sign Freddie Freeman. I've also been on this podcast saying I think he's one of my favorite players of all time, top 5 hitter, and those statements are both true. I'm just a Dodger fan, and I like to see teams do it homegrown.
Mm-hmm.
I also think Freddie is a better player than Corey Seager, no doubt. But I think that the Dodgers didn't need to sign Freeman, but Freeman doesn't do astronomically more production-wise than I think Corey can give you. So I think they did need to make up a lot of what they were going to miss with Corey production-wise. They did add Trey Turner at the deadline. You could say, well, that adds for it. But we didn't win with Corey and Trey. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
At this point in the venture, right when we signed Freeman, I thought I was going to be pissed, oh, here we go. We got Mookie and Freeman. This isn't the Dodgers anymore. Couldn't stop smiling. It's Freddie Freeman on my favorite team. It's amazing. And the way in which it happened was the only way I could have been happy with it, which is the Braves signing Matt Olson before Freeman even signed. The sign of this is that's so disrespectful. It's not even funny. This is your guy, your franchise guy was there for shit years and won you a World Series. Excuse me again. And then you sign Olson. You trade, and then sign to a large contract. Not also before Freddie even goes anywhere else. Not even giving Freddie an option, because at that point everyone knows it's pretty much Dodgers and Braves. It's just so disrespectful. It's honestly, fuck the Braves. Good. I'm glad the Dodgers have him because I hope he beats the Braves in the playoffs, and then everyone just flips him off. But God bless Freddie. God bless his soul.
Yeah, it was a weird scenario, and it was one of those things where everybody's like, "Oh, he's coming back. Don't worry." And it didn't happen. And it still was a shock, even though we knew it was a possibility.
Yeah.
Real quick, I just want to talk about Kershaw coming back to the Dodgers. I set the table for you if you want to talk about it, but that was one of those things as well where you kind of knew he was going to come back, but at the same time, it wasn't official until we got the word that wasn't the case. So he'll be back next year. I'm sure you're very thrilled about that, Dan.
I am. I mean, I'm glad you knew. I wasn't sure. I made a whole fucking press conference illustrating how 5 teams can get him and take my fanship. I was so scared. And he signed within 2 minutes of me posting that podcast. He was already on a team because all teams looked at it and they said, you know what, we got to make this move now. Dan's about to stop being a fan of us. We got to make sure we get this done.
Can't do that.
Subsequently, almost everything I asked of the other 4 teams, well, they also made those moves. Yankees got rid of Gary. Blue Jays traded for some big pieces. Mariners traded for Jesse Winker. Everyone did exactly what I asked for, and God bless. I appreciate all the stuff, but once Kershaw signed, it's a little bit too little, too late, if you're asking me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, 4.5 strong innings with 6 Ks yesterday for Kersh. Just if anyone was wondering, 2 hits, 1 walk. I like him this year. I mean, you heard it in the starting pitcher. I think he breaks out this. I don't have to do air quotes. I think he breaks out this year because people have been down on Kersh for 2 or 3 seasons. So I think he breaks out and thrusts his name back into that top tier conversation. I watched MLB.com's or MLB Network's top 100. He was ranked 93rd. That list was like almost the worst list I've ever seen. And Clayton was not the worst on that. Clayton going to the year, he's probably like 70 something. I'd be okay with that. Not crazy. I don't think he's top 5 anymore. But they had people like, I mean, I don't know, just some wild takes on there. Franco was like top 40. I might make Franco a whole segment on this episode without anyone even knowing. I need someone to explain to me how Franco is good. And I'm not trying to be an ass. Like, I really don't. I don't want to be mean. I hope the best for the kid. I have nothing against him. I feel like a kid in math, Sean. You know, like we're in trig right now.
Yeah.
And everyone's looking at the board and they all get it. I just don't get it. Like, what is everyone else seeing that I'm not seeing? Why is he good? Like, why?
It's got to be upside. I mean, when those lists aren't supposed to be upside. I mean, it's supposed to be a little upside, but it's supposed to be what have they done in the past?
But where are they getting the upside from?
Speed,
you look at his
power, I don't know.
But speed, like that. My thing is, then people aren't like looking at the same thing I'm looking at. You know, they're not seeing the numbers the way I'm seeing them. Because Sean, he had 85th percentile speed last year, and I made sure to research Franco again and again and again. Because I'm clearly missing something.
Yeah.
If you look in the minors, his first year in the minors, I think he stole like 5 bases, got caught 3 times. Second year, first time he actually kind of stole a lot, 18 stolen bases. He got caught 14 times. And the last 2 years after that, he hasn't stolen more than 3, and he's been at a 50% rate every single time. Where is this stolen base threat from?
I don't know.
He was on pace for 4 bags last year. He played 70 games. Like, it's not like your rookie year is going to be the year like you're going to, I don't know. I don't see
I agree. I'm with
Franco
you on
at
that.
all. I think he's athletic. Like, I think he'll go first or third quickly. He also looks kind of stiff at short. He didn't have a good season defensively. He's shown no power in the minors whatsoever. Maybe he could get to 20 homers. He was on pace for like 11.
Yeah.
He could hit 300. But it's I thought we didn't like guys that just hit 300. He doesn't strike out. I think it's guys like he doesn't strike out. And you're talking to the guy who does, but he also doesn't walk. He's not like Soto putting up 20% walk rates and 15 or 12% strikeout rates. He's like walking 8% of the time and striking out 12, which is great. But he doesn't make really, really hard contact, so he doesn't get a lot of. I just don't.
I agree. The list is mad. They had Francisco Lindor like 68, which I know he had a bad year last year, but he's not 68.
I don't know. Someone's gonna see this, come on this pod, and tell me why I'm wrong. I want to know why I'm wrong because I know I am. Everyone knows Franco's great, and I need to be told a stat that tells me that.
Hey, when you said the math analogy, I felt that so much. I really did because I was always that kid in class. So I had no idea what was going on.
Everyone gets this.
I was like, oh yeah, I know the answers. And I'm just sitting there like.
It's not like you don't want to know.
Yeah.
It's just you can't figure it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thank you. Thank you. I needed this, guys. I'm sorry for derailing it, but I have to at least once an episode.
Yeah. I guess I have one more signing that I'd like to highlight real quick is Carlos Correa going to Minnesota, essentially a 1-year deal. It's kind of like opt out after every year. It's just a 1-year deal. I mean, he had a decent year last year. I don't really understand if he thinks he can do any better than what he did last year. But Minnesota is kind of that place where is one of those teams that can sign these guys to stopgap years like Atlanta did with Josh Donaldson a few years ago. I think he'll do fine with Minnesota. I think next year he'll sign a big, large contract with somebody else. I just thought that the deal was a little bit interesting. I guess the Twins are going for it this year to win, but I don't know if they have the talent to do that per se. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting move. I don't know how it will work out, but.
Yeah, I don't know what the Twins are. I mean, 2 years ago, the Twins were still the best team in the AL Central. Mm-hmm. White Sox were up and coming. They shit the bed unexpectedly. Remember, people thought Twins could still win the division last year, but they shit the bed. But the roster didn't change much. So it could have just been a bad year, Again, excuse me. And they might bounce back next year and still be one of the top in the division. I feel like we changed our view on the Twins really quickly. We're once they started sucking, they just suck. Well, they had the same team and they just won with that team the year before.
Yeah.
I don't see it with the Twins. I'm not saying I'm still in the boat where they suck, but interesting signing. I am happy that Carlos got that deal because a lot of people were saying, well, Seeger got 350 over whatever. Carlos is going to get 400. I'm like, I don't know if it's just like public perception that Carlos is better than Seeger, but it's not close. It's not like he's like, oh, he's close, and like people might think it because he's an Astro, gets more hype. He's not Corey Seager.
No, not at
and
all.
I'm glad GMs are like, no, we're not giving you a long-term. Talk about Seager injury. He's got the same goddamn injury history, and he just has worse production.
Yeah.
But God bless. I wish Carlos the best. Hopefully he proves himself in the 1 year. I mean, it's a prove it deal. He's getting $30 fucking million. It's not much of a prove it deal.
And if he has a terrible year, he just doesn't opt out, and then he can ride out the contract for 3 years.
Yeah, he's going for high AAV, and God bless. But Corey got the same AAV for a long-term deal. He's better.
Yeah.
I'm going to scroll through just a couple of names and just give short things. Did you want to talk about Trevor's story?
Oh, if you want to talk about him, you can briefly mention
it. Odd signing for me. Given what they're doing with the positions, I would move Bogey to third, move Devers to DH, and put Story at short. Story's a much better defender than Bogey. Bogey can't play short. Devers can't play third. Devers should 100% be a DH. He's Big Poppy 2.0. I think Bogarts would be, and he doesn't have as much range. He'd be better at third. But they're moving their best defender to the least important defensive position. We'll see how it works for the Red Sox. That's what I have to say.
Yeah. Interesting, to say the least.
Interesting to say the least. Eduardo Rodriguez, signing with Detroit. Can't say this enough. I think that's a filthy signing. He had a really down year last year, but he got really unlucky, in my opinion. I think he could win Cy Young. Said that a couple times for the Tigers. Big ballpark. He has a huge bounce back year. Let's see. Anyone else? Avisail Garcia spoke about it. I think he might have a little bounce back breakout campaign with Miami, given full playing time. I really like his. I think he could be all-star type player. I love San Francisco signing Rodon. I've already spoke about how much I like Rodon. So I think he's legit. So I think it's a good signing by San Francisco. Anthony Rizzo, Sean, we're talking about one of the best signings by the Yankees.
Top 10 first baseman right there.
Eddie Rosario getting another deal to go back to Atlanta. That's a fun time.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago White Sox stealing Joe Kelly. Not a fan. I'm a big fan of Joe Kelly. Didn't like him on Boston. Loved him when he was on our team. Kenley going to Atlanta. Anything on that, Sean?
That was a bit surprising. I mean, they kind of swapped players. The Dodgers got Freeman and Atlanta got Jansen the same day, I believe. I wasn't expecting that, to be honest with you. I thought Kenley Jansen was going to do a Kershaw type thing, come back. It was only a 1 year deal, right, for Jansen in Atlanta?
Let me check.
I have it written down somewhere. Yeah, 1 year, $16 million.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting deal to sign, 1 year.
And to boot, the Yankees, not the Yankees, the Dodgers also got the Braves ex-closer in Craig Kimbrell the other day in a trade for A.J. Pollock, which hopefully gives Gavin Lux finally starting reps. I guarantee it won't. We'll call someone up that's 10 times better, all-star MVP type candidate. That's all I have for signings and moves.
Yeah. One more. Jorge Soler going to the Marlins.
Love that.
Yeah.
Marlins, that's two sneaky outfield moves there. Soler and Garcia. I like that a lot.
Marlins are trying to build a little something. And they won't be as bad as they had been in the past. They'll probably, finish probably second to last in the NL East, but that's going to be a tough division, so it's not really any shame in that.
I like how Jeter leaves because he said they're not willing to sign people, and then they sign everyone right after he leaves. And I tip the cap. You have to tip the cap to Miami for that.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, you have to. Where are we going? Where are we going next, Sean?
Do we want to give our division winners?
I'd love to, if you want me to.
Yeah. Do you want to go division per division? Like I'll give you mine, you give me yours, or whatever.
That sounds great to me.
Okay. Well, I started out with the NL East just because I'm familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to give mine, or you want to give yours?
I want to hear yours, Sean. I do.
I think the Braves are going to win it. I think they have the best team on paper. Offensively, pitching, I think they got it. I do think that after not re-signing Freeman, that the distance between them and the second team are a little bit, closer than it should be. But I think the Braves win it. I think that the NL East is going to be one of the toughest divisions this year. Definitely the toughest in the National League, in my opinion. That's what they said last year, too, and it kind of didn't really live up to the hype. But every team in the division got better, including the Marlins. I guess maybe the Nationals didn't, but the Nationals did sign Nelly Cruz. So, I mean, that's like you signing a Hall of Fame player right there.
You are signing a Hall of Fame player right there.
Absolutely. But yeah, I have the Braves winning it. I also have two other teams from that division making the playoffs, but I can get to them later when I go to the wild card, which isn't really the wild card anymore. But
wow, teaser and a half there.
Oh yeah.
I will say when I did this, I of course assumed that Jacob deGrom would be pitching. Given that he won't be, that's tough. It definitely does affect how I feel. I don't know how by much. I don't know by how much. Sean, I can't speak. I still have the Mets winning the division.
Really? Okay.
I don't love the Braves this year. I think losing Freeman and replacing him with Olsen is not as comparable.
Yeah.
Everyone. I'm not a fan of Matt Olsen.
Yeah.
And I'm not too confident in their pitching staff after Morton. I like Fried. I like Morton. After that, it's like I'm not sure. I'd rather have Carrasco than a lot of those guys. I know he didn't have good showing in the spring, but I like Carrasco. I like the move to get Bassett. That was your 3-4, Bassett, Carrasco.
Yeah.
Obviously, before deGrom went down. That's pretty crazy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Scherzer, he's a little bitch. He'll probably never pitch all year. By the way, I'd like to take a win on that argument for starting pitching. Already, he's making excuses. This guy's just going to collect money.
It's just a hamstring tightness, right? You don't want to make it worse in spring training. So
he hasn't pitched in 10 years to Max Scherzer. He's like screwing everyone.
Oh my God.
But if Scherzer comes back and he pitches, and we'll see with deGrom, if you can get him, maybe for the second half of the season, I still think the Mets are the favorite. I'd rather have Taijuan Walker and McGill at the back end of my rotation right now than who the Braves had and Kyle Wright and Minushki. Literally, they have Hushki. I think the offenses are pretty comparable, if not skewed towards the Mets. So I'm in the Mets.
I like that. I really do.
I'm sure you do.
The reason I didn't pick the Mets is because I've seen the Mets, obviously just disappoint me year after year. But in all seriousness, I think the Braves, with Acuna coming back, who knows what you're gonna get? But I think he's definitely motivated to come back. You know how I feel about Acuna, so I'm just gonna try and praise him a little bit right now. But I think the Braves. Basically, I don't have a lot of faith in the Mets and the Phillies. So I'm going with the Braves, the team that won the World Series last year. I don't know if that's a smart way to go about it or not, but that's just where I'm at.
Did you do a win projection for?
I did not exactly do a win projection. If you did, you can do them if you'd like.
93 wins for the Mets. I have
93 wins. Okay.
As the 2 seed, because I went all the way straight through the championship. I know, I'm a little bucky with things. I have them as a 2 seed, so they got to buy. They got to buy in the NL.
Hallelujah. Let's stick with the NL. Does that sound good for you?
Yeah, let's go Senti.
Who do you think's got you? Who do you have winning the NL Central?
I got the Milwaukee Brew Crew, Sean. Only 88 wins. I think the offense. Excuse me. When the three aces are not on the mound, that of course being Burns, Peralta, and
Woodruff.
Thank you. If they're not on the mound, I think they might struggle. I don't know much about Hauser, and I don't. Eric Lau is just out here, doing his thing. God bless his soul. I don't think they're going to win many of those games with the offense they have. I think losing Avisel Garcia is bigger than people think. I think he had a big impact on them last year. Their offense is okay. They just didn't do enough for me to like them to win over 90 games. But the pitching's going to win them a lot of games.
Yeah, I also have the Brewers running the division, but this is probably one of the weaker divisions. Maybe not weaker, but it might be more inter-division, like beating up on each other. Mm-hmm. I don't think the Cardinals finished too far behind them, but the Cubs and the Reds, they're not And the Pirates, obviously, they don't really strike any kind of fear
No.
in me. So I think it's going to be a 2-horse race for that division. But the Brewers, they kind of always do this where they have a good year, and then the next year they kind of come back down to earth. I believe in 2018 they went to the NLCS, and I think the next year they either didn't make the playoffs or lost in the wild card game, I think, to the Nationals. They go up and down a bit. They definitely have the pieces in place. Pitching wise, offensively, they struggled last year, and that was before losing some key guys, like you said, and Garcia. So I think that they're going to be a mid 80 win team as well. But that should be a pretty close race between the two teams down the stretch here.
You have them winning the division though, right?
I do.
Okay. All right.
Not overwhelmingly though, but
okay. What do you have for the West?
Well, I have the Dodgers. You can't go against the Dodgers. You really can't. I mean, the Padres last year self-imploded. The Giants, I don't. Yeah, they do every single year. The Giants, I don't think come anywhere close to what they did last year. I think the Giants are a 500 team next year. I could be way off with that.
No,
but I don't. I think they all overperformed this year, and they had some nice signings in the offseason, as we discussed.
Yeah.
But I don't think it moves the needle enough in a tough division. I do expect Padres to be good, but the Dodgers are just going to win. Like I'm guessing 106 games. If I had to put a number on it, definitely over 100 games.
They got
he's healthy.
Giants got jockey too, which is I hate that so much. Yeah. But I had the Dodgers as the 1 seed, Brewers obviously the 3, with 98 wins. You know, I was a little bit. I think you're probably closer to the real win total. I always like to be as conservative as I can.
Especially when it comes to your own teams.
Who do you have for the wild card? You want me to give my first wild card?
Yeah, go ahead. Give your first wild card.
For the 4 seed here, which will be playing the 2. No, yeah, that'll be playing the 2 seed. No, 5 seed. The 4 seed, which will be playing the 5 seed.
And then the 3 seed will be playing the 6 seed.
Yeah. Well, the 3 seed will play the winner of the 5 or 6. That's how that works, right?
Yeah. No, do they reseed it? Are they going to reseed it after?
No, there's no reseeding.
Okay, so I think that would be the case. Yeah.
It's 2 versus. Well, no, because 1 and 2 get buys, so it's 3 versus 6. 3 versus 6 versus 4 and 5. You're right. I'm sorry. Anyway, the 4 seed I have as the San Diego Padres with 90 wins, so that'd be more than the Brewers in the Central. God, you have to hope. They have such a good team.
Yeah.
I know Tatis
just got Mania
down.
Yeah.
Did they?
Yeah, this morning.
Because they needed more pitching. I've never seen a team get more pitching. And I know their pitching hasn't been like great, but they just have so many names on that staff, Sean. Just names and names and names. Yu Darvish, I think, again, has a decent bounce back season. Musgrove, people love. Mania, people like. Snell, Mike Clevenger, I'm huge on. Everyone knows he got absolutely destroyed in his first spring training start, but I have faith that he'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah.
Clevenger's their 5 starters, John. He was an ace before Tommy John.
Did he pitch last year?
No, he had Tommy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
But like 2 years, like he was like just a 2, like a high 2 behind Bauer, because Bauer was a stud in 2019. Yeah. Their offense obviously is nothing to sneer at. Even without Tatis, I think they're fine.
Their offense struggled last year too, believe it or not. Somehow
I know the players they got Grisham, Machado, Cronenworth. They brought in Voit, Hosmer, Myers. Sean, they got Jurickson Profar.
Legend.
I think they win 90 games.
But they have Bob Melvin behind the bench now, which is a big improvement. I forget their manager last year. It was a similar situation in the Mets. I think their manager was in over his head, didn't really know how to handle all the personalities. Bob Melvin's been doing it for a while and knows how to get the best out of his team. My first wild card for mine would be the Mets. That's who I have. I didn't obviously, like I said, didn't do win totals, but if I had to put a win total on it, I said the Mets win like 88 to 90 games. Which is probably underwhelming for most Mets fans who are a little delusional, thinking they're going to win over 100 games. You got to kind of consider who your opponents are in your division is. So I think they're the first wild card. so they would be the 4 seed. So
Mhm.
they'd be playing the 5 seed. Should
You
I do
got
my
it.
5 seed while I'm doing this right now?
Go for it. Yeah,
My 5 seed would be the San Diego Padres.
I like it.
So, everything you just said, I agree with, and don't have too much else to add. That would be a heck of a series, actually.
It would be. You're going to be surprised by my 5 seed, I think, Sean, because you haven't heard another team, the team that you spoke about earlier. I think the Phillies are the 5 seed in the NL. I think they get 87 wins for reasons I already mentioned. I think their offense is stout, and I think the pitching is enough, especially. I'm kind of excited with them going into the playoffs, too, with Wheeler and Nola, kind of a two-headed monster there. You don't need as deep of a rotation once you get into the playoffs, and I do think Phillies finally break through.
Yeah, I agree. I have the Phillies as my 6 seed. Well, I have
like
all
it.
the wild card teams being pretty close to each other, so it could be really fluctuate quite a bit.
I have the my 6 seed actually tied with the Phillies for 87 wins, and that is your Atlanta Braves, World Series champions. Obviously, not that good.
They
So
love
my
wins.
my matchup, Sean, is Brewers, which is the 3 seed, versus Braves. I have the Braves defeating the Brewers in that matchup there. I do think the Brewers have filthy pitching, but I think the Braves offense touches them up, which would lead to a Braves-Dodgers, because that's the next matchup there because the Dodgers get a bye. Yeah. And in the other round, it's obviously Phillies-Padres. I have, not going to lie to you, Sean, I have the Padres beating the Phillies, but then you're going to like this. Okay. I have the Mets beating the Padres to face off against the Dodgers in the NL Championship Series. And then the Dodgers promptly swifting them away to go to the World Series.
Well, I will say this. The Mets, historically against the Dodgers in the playoffs, are pretty good.
Daniel Murphy isn't here to save you this time, Sean. Okay? He's not here to save you.
Well, the time before that, way long time ago, 2006, I think we swept the Dodgers, but that was before the Dodgers were the Dodgers.
Yeah. Who do you have making it out? If you don't want to go like series by series, who do you have just making it out?
Making it out of the National League? It's hard for me not to say the Dodgers, just because they're built to win anything and everything in any way. So I'd say Dodgers. If I had to pick a second team that I think could pull it off, that'd be equally as tough. I don't really know off the top of my head. I have to think about this for a second here.
Do you want to take a look at your picks and try and go through it the way I did?
I think the Braves. Something about the Braves.
Okay.
Which is the opposite, because this time last year we were always talking about how they choked in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And this year they proved a lot of people wrong. To put it bluntly, I guess I'm not that high on the Mets, or really the Padres or the Phillies, or the Brewers. The Brewers also kind of choke out in the playoffs. But I think the Braves, they did it last year. Everybody, they kind of can take a deep breath and understand what to expect and what comes along the way. But I think the Dodgers pretty easily get to the World Series with that team, unless Mookie and Freddie get injured along the way. I think they got it. You
have to hope. Shifting over to the AL. Who's winning that AL East, Sean?
This was really, really tough. My initial thought was 4 teams out of the American League East are going to make the playoffs. Then I was like, is that possible? Which I think it is, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I went out on a limb here and say Tampa is not going to make the playoffs in any way, shape, or form this year, but I don't think they're going to miss it by much. I'm going that way because I feel like they are always solid, always a good team, but they have years where they're really good, and then after that they'll kind of peter out a little bit around 85 wins, which isn't bad. But in the AL East, you're going to have to really handle your division quite well. Although the schedule is a bit more balanced this year, you're playing outside of division more, which I don't really like. I like playing in division because I like that kind of inner competition. But anyway, long story short, I have Toronto winning the division. I think it's going to be a really close division. I think the Yankees come in second and the Red Sox come in third. And obviously Tampa comes in fourth. I know you guys thought I was going to pick Baltimore to win it. I just don't see them doing it this year.
Yeah, next year.
Yeah, next year. Yeah, but Toronto this year, I have them winning the division. This is assuming their pitching holds up because they have an offense, but the pitching is a bit of a question mark.
I don't know. Jorge Mateo, man, he's really coming on for Baltimore. Might get the starting job.
Yeah.
Just watch out. I have the Blue Jays winning 96 games and taking the AL East by a total of 4 games, considering my second place team is 92. I love the Blue Jays this year. I absolutely love them. Loved them last year. And again, I'll say it for a million times on this podcast. I think they have the most underrated pitching staff in baseball. Underrated also can mean, like Sean says, it's kind of high variance. But Barrios, Gausman, Ryu, Manoah, and Kikuchi. I think Manoah could be a number 2 starter on some teams. Gausman was a 1 last year. Barrios is decent. Ryu is chubby and Asian. Kikuchi's just Asian. I think I don't see where it could go wrong for the Blue Jays this year. I
agree. I agree.
My Central, I got the White Sox taking that with 91 wins. They would be the 3 seed. Blue Jays would be the 1 seed with 96 wins. Just for everyone to understand where I'm at.
I have the Blue Jays. Sorry, excuse me, not the Blue Jays. The White Sox winning the division. I think they win it pretty handily. As we discussed, the Twins have the potential to be good, but that division is kind of underwhelming in the sense where the Tigers will be better, but I don't think good enough.
The pod, Sean. Javi Baez, MVP.
Javi Baez, yeah, absolutely. The Royals also improving. I think a few years from now, this division could be very tough. Mm-hmm. But at this moment in time, the White Sox, I think, are the clear-cut favorites. Yeah.
What do you got for the West?
The West. Now, this one was a tough one. I think I may have maybe gone with my heart a little more than my head. I picked Seattle. I was between Seattle and Houston. My gut tells me Houston's going to win the division, but my head or my heart tells me that Seattle will. I liked what Seattle did a lot this year. Obviously, Jesse Winker recently to solidify that lineup. They have a lot of young players, so that could also – that's good and bad. Guys could burst on the scene, or they could be like Jared Kelenic last year and kind of struggle a little bit in the beginning. Not saying he's going to have a bad career, just saying initial come up was not great. Houston has the history. They've done it before. So ultimately, I think they win, but I'm going with Seattle nonetheless.
Well, that was uncalled for. Especially, I don't know if you're a fan of baseball on YouTube, Foolish Bailey, he just put out the video and the thumbnail was just Kelenic with a big thumbs down sign. He said he didn't like Kelenic for 2022 at all. He said he might never pan out. And I really respect Bailey. I really respect him. So it's like, wow, that's fun. He was like the poster child of players I don't think that are going to be good. And, yeah, I'm a big Kelenic fan. Spent a lot of money, real and fan tracks to get him. My West winner was the Astros with 94 wins. I think they're the 2 seed, unfortunately. I'll just give my 3 wild card picks here, and I'll let you do the same. It's probably a better way to do it. First wild card, I have the Yankees winning 92 games with the 4 seed. As bad as I think they are, took a look at their team, and they're really not that bad. They got some big boppers now, and I don't mind the rotation as much as I thought I would. They have some arms I kind of like. The bullpen is still decent. And I hate to say it, I really think that trade did a lot. They got rid of a lot of strikeouts and brought in guys that are good baseball players in IKF and Donaldson. You might think Gio and Gary are better. I don't. I'll just say I don't. I don't know. I just think Donaldson's still filthy. He still hits the ball just as hard as almost anybody in the league. And IKF is a great fielding shortstop who puts the ball in play. And I think that's the kind of stuff we needed, not more lefty power, which is awesome. And I think the rotation should be good enough to get us to 92 wins. Wild card number 2, second team out of the West. I have the Los Angeles Angels. Okay. This would be a fun matchup, by the way. Yankees, Angels, wild card. That'd be fun. Cole or Otani. What is it? There's all 3 games now, right?
Yeah.
But that's a fun-ass series. I'll talk about that in a second. I think they get 91 wins this year. Like I said, I think that bullpen's much improved. They're going to bring in Reed Detmers from the minors. I hope he has a good bounce-back season. Good prospect for him. Excuse me. Otani's ridiculous. They brought in Syndergaard. I think they'll be okay. The offense is really good. Rendon comes back. They're a wild card. 6th seed. I had the Red Sox and the Rays both winning 86 games. But for some reason, the Red Sox having that tiebreaker, I don't know what it is, but you'll find out during the season. I'm not like magic. I just know it's going to happen. So the Red Sox will take that 6th seed.
I like that. My American League wild cards, the Yankees would be the first wild card, which would be the 4 seed. The Yankees, even when they have a down year, quote unquote, they still win more than 90 games. It's just the expectations for the Yankees are so high every single year.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to live up to. And I do like what they did this year. I agree with you. Gary Sanchez leaving is an addition by subtraction, honestly. Josh Donaldson is a guy who's a really good clubhouse leader as well. He's been around for a while, and I assume him and Garrett Cole have kind of squashed their beef. Now, I thought we saw Gio Urshela was a fan favorite. Was that not a case, or you just didn't like him?
No, Gio Urshela was a fan favorite, and like there was a point in time when he was the best player on the Yankees, like for a short period of time.
Yeah,
and that doesn't mean nothing. That means nothing. I don't think he's a starting third baseman on a championship team. I think he's a great bench player. And like a starting third baseman type person on another team, but not for a champion. I think Donaldson's much better than Urshela. Okay. And I have to say, you had just said something that just reminded me. I don't remember now, but something you said. Oh, who's got the most homers in spring training this season, Sean? You know?
I'm not sure.
It's Kyle Higashioka with 7. Okay, 2 more than anyone else. How long has my father been saying Kyle Higashioka is the best player on the Yankees? My father 3 or 4 years ago was like, why don't they just let this guy play every day? He's the best hitter on the Yankees. And I said, Dad, I hear you. Kyle Higashioka is going to hit 45 tanks this year. Book it. Book it. Kyle Higashioka has had the best catcher in the league on our team for 5 years and just wouldn't start him.
Wow. Okay, that's I hope for your case it's right because that would give us some credibility on this pod. Yeah, my second wild card team would be the Houston Astros. Just yeah. And my last team would be the Boston Red Sox.
Okay, I like it. I'll give you the quick breakdown of how I think the games are going. We got 5-4. I have the Angels. They lose in the best 3-game series of all time. I think the Yankees-Angels have just, between New York and LA, the craziest games of all time. I'm going to be at a couple of them as well, okay? At least one of them. The first game, Otani versus Cole. Woo! Otani hits a bomb off Cole to lead off the game.
Wow.
Yep, because Otani's going to be leading off a lot now. I think he goes yak first pitch to lead off the game against Cole. Oh, Sean, I'm so excited. That's not what I should be excited for going to the Yankees game. But those teams, I finally think the Yankees might be fun. Like, Judge and Stanton can be fun when they're not, like, the same player all the way down the lineup. So I'm acting like the series is happening tomorrow. I think it is. I'm excited for that.
Okay.
But the Yankees pull it out in the game 3. Red Sox versus Blue Jays, right? Or no, it would be where are we sitting here, Sean? Yeah, Red Sox versus White Sox. I'm sorry. With the Battle of the Sox here. I got the White Sox beating the Red Sox. The pitching is too much in Chicago. Red Sox don't have as much pitching. And then I think White Sox versus Blue Jays. I don't think that series is particularly close. I think that's an easy sweep for the Blue Jays. I think they get lucky in that. And then the Yankees versus Astros. I think the Astros win. I hate to tell you. I think they do. Blue Jays, Astros. I think Blue Jays pummel them again. I think the Blue Jays are just the best team in the AL, almost by as wide of a margin as the Dodgers are in the NL, in my opinion. Then I have obviously Dodgers Blue Jays championship, and I got the blue team winning.
Nice.
I got the Dodgers pulling it out. I do think that'll be a fight. Oh God, how fun would that series be? The offense,
Oh my God. Yeah.
Freddie, Mookie, Vladdy, the Blue Jays have Bo. That would be just star power there.
That would be.
Be a fun
I
series.
I also have the Blue Jays coming out of the AL. So
That's what we're hoping for. Blue Jays Dodgers here.
yeah, we'll see. Oh,
What are we doing? We got awards to give out
we
here.
do have awards. Do we want to start with the Rookie of the Year?
Sure, we can do that.
I could go first. I'll give you my NL one.
Let's hear it.
Will be O'Neal Cruz.
Okay. Any reason behind it other than he's 6'7" and amazing?
No, he's just an absolute stud. I've seen his highlights. I don't know if you call it a mixtape when it comes to baseball. It's more a basketball thing. I love him. He's on the Pirates, so I hope to give some Pirates fans something to look forward to.
He's on the Red Hots, Sean. He's on the Red Hots. Yeah.
Yeah, I like him. I like what he brings to the table.
First round draft pick by me. We'll discuss that in another episode when we do like our draft grades.
Yeah.
You could have had O'Neal Cruz. You went Francisco Alvarez, which is not a bad pick whatsoever.
Yeah.
My NL Rookie of the Year actually is Keibert Ruiz, solely because Pittsburgh is and sent down O'Neal. Right? They're not letting him start the year, which is insane. He was raking. He was hitting like 350, 3 homers, and just doing everything you'd want out of a kid. And they're like, no, Paul Newman's our guy. He's our guy. I couldn't tell you, man.
Did they fix the service time manipulation?
They're giving incentives for bringing players up early. I think the Pirates at this point, now that they would be incentivized to do it, aren't doing it because they don't like to receive benefits. But they like to trade the good players away. They just want to get as bad as possible.
Okay. All right.
Hopefully O'Neal is up, within a month, and he could still win Rookie of the Year easily. I just think Keybird's going to be the starting catcher from the jump, and I think he has a good enough season where that month missed by O'Neal, he's able to put up better stats.
Yeah.
My AL. Oh, you want to say NL here?
You go AL.
Okay, we'll rank by awards, not division, not a league. So AL Rookie of the Year. I don't think this is close, guys. There's a lot of good candidates. Bobby Witt's filthy. Right? There's some a lot of guys, but Julio Rodriguez, this guy I am excited for. I think he's that Juan Soto Acuna type player that comes up and dominates out the gate. I don't think it's going to take any time for him to adjust like Kelenic. Hopefully Kelenick's adjusting. I think Julio is he's just filth, Sean. He's the literal definition of filth.
Well, my guy actually was just named to the opening day roster for the Detroit Tigers, Spencer Torkelson.
He's on my team.
Yeah, of course he is. Every single guy is under the age like 24 and hasn't made his debut yet is on your team.
That's right.
I think he's going to be an absolute stud. I think he's going to help turn around the Detroit Tigers, and I'm hopeful.
Me too. I hope so. I'm excited for him. I saw that. I retweeted that. So Twerk is. You hear that Miggy gave him his first base glove and everything, and like a little ceremony.
Oh, really?
Yeah, supposedly like it was the changing of the guard, and they're like really doing it official, which is nice to see.
Absolutely.
I guess we'll be at Cy Young's here, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to switch up and go AL first. I'm sticking to it, Sean. Book it. Eduardo Rodriguez pulls out the Cy Young this year. I think people like Garrett Cole and some of the other, Verlander, some of the people that you might think could do it. Someone gets some injuries, and Eduardo just has a season and a half. I think he finishes with a 2.7, 2.8. Not extraordinarily great, but innings leader by about 25 innings. Eduardo Rodriguez in the AL.
I have my very own Shane Bieber.
Love it.
But he's on my team, so he's probably gonna blow off his arm like doing something stupid.
I just picked up an order off waivers because no one else likes it. So, I mean, I couldn't tell you that he's not.
Erod.
What do you got for NL, Sean? NL.
For NL, I have everyone's favorite pick, Walker Buehler.
Okay.
Wasn't very original in that. I just think that he's head and shoulders better than everybody else, especially with DeGrom being injured for a long time.
Yeah. DeGrom being injured definitely takes an interesting look. You got to look at Corbin, obviously, and some other people. Listen, I don't do this a lot on this podcast. I'm going to be a homer. I got Clayton Kershaw really coming back. I'm telling you, he's going to have a season. Listen, if we had this podcast the last 5 years, I would not have picked Clayton every year. I wouldn't have. I have not been this high on Clayton in 4 years. This is the first year in 3 seasons I've actually drafted him and not had to trade for him in fantasy. I'm telling you, I am high on Clay this year. And if Clay doesn't win, this is just going to get worse. I think it's going to be Logan Webb. I got another guy on my team who I traded for this offseason. Basically, in my mind, I traded Ozzy for the AL Rookie of the Year and the NL Cy Young, apparently.
Yeah.
I love Logan Webb. I think another guy who's going to eat innings and just if the Giants are anywhere good as they were last year, he's going to be a big part of it, leading that staff. Clayton.
That's a bold pick, but
Thank you.
We'll let it count.
You want to go NL MVP first, just because I think AL is probably more interesting.
Yeah, Juan Soto.
Juan Soto is going to win MVP. I've said it on multiple podcasts. 3 years in a row. If you can find a way to put money on that, Juan Soto will win the next 3 MVPs. Book it. It's not close. It was Tatis injured. It's not close.
Yeah.
Acuna's injured. I mean, Freeman can win MVP, but he's on a team of MVPs, which makes it difficult.
Yeah.
Because so could Betts.
Soto's on a terrible team.
Soto's on a terrible team, which you could say hinders because they're not going to make the playoffs. But when it's a 500 on base percentage, I think people are going to think about it. I love Juan Soto. Who do you got for AL, Sean?
AL, I have your boy Rafael Devers.
I love that pick. I love that.
I really like him. Just feel like him. He's improved every year, and the Red Sox need him to be what he was last year. And I think Devers is the sky's the limit for the guy. I really like him a lot.
I think that's a good pick as well because, like you said, we both said we think they're going to be like an 85 to 88 fringe win team.
Mm-hmm.
And if they make the playoffs, especially with the lack of pitching, he's going to be a big part of that in the middle of their offense. I actually have money on him winning MVP.
Okay.
Like physical dollars in Bovada. So I do agree with you. However, I think another player takes their team to a height they haven't seen in a little bit. I don't think they make the playoffs, but I think they make a really big run. They might even finish higher than 4th in the AL West. And that is, you guys are going to hate me, Corey Seeger on the Texas Rangers. I think he finally stays healthy for a whole year. He finally has a team that's his own. He's never been the guy. He is the guy in Texas right now. And I think he takes full advantage of that with Marcus in front of him. It's a lot of RBI opportunities. Marcus is a great player in his own right. Almost won MVP 2 of the last 3 years. But I think Corey finally shows out in Texas and pulls that team from like a 100-loss type situation to maybe low 80s, and that's enough to show that he was the most valuable player.
Okay. I like that. I have Corey Seager on one fantasy league that I'm in right now.
As you should.
I have a lot of fantasy league. I just had a bit of a blank on what team he was in, but.
So Sean, I think we're coming towards the end of the pod, believe it or not.
Yeah.
However, we are going to start doing 3 picks to click for the week, right? Man, the season starts in 4 days, doesn't it?
It does.
For you guys, it starts in 3. I mean, excuse me. This is getting close now. So the next time you see us, the first week will basically have passed.
Yeah.
The first 7 games. So we are going to give every week we're going to give 3 different over-unders or picks to click type situation. And whoever gets, 2 out of 3, whatever, gets the point. We'll keep it tallied, right? We'll go throughout the whole season. Or do we give 1 point per week or 1 point per answer, and we can tie even on a week?
I think 1 point per answer works.
That works. So what was the first question that we had? Do you remember?
I have it right in front of me here.
Okay.
More home runs in the first week, Vladdy or Juan Soto?
That's a good question. You guys don't cheat. Vote down below as well before we answer. Pause it right now. Go down and give us your answer. We'd love to hear what you think. Sean, you want to go first or second on this one?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Vladdy. He's on my fantasy team, so maybe there's a little bit of bias there. But frankly, I think Vladdy has more pure power than Soto does in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Also more protection in the lineup. But as we said, that's not going to affect Soto because we have him winning the MVP. But I think Vladdy will have more. I think he'll have a three in the first week.
I got Vladdy for 3 homers in the first week. Sean, I was gonna say for bonus points, like for a plus 0.5 or point for an additional bonus point, maybe we give like exact things. I have Vladdy hitting 3, Juan hitting 1. I think Juan faces some pretty stiff comp that first week. And Vladdy doesn't face as much competition, and I think Vladdy just generally has more power. Soto might not swing for the first 6 games. I don't know. He might walk every time. Who knows?
No, he could. Barry Bonds.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're pretty close there. How many homers do you think Soto gets?
I think Soto gets 2.
Okay.
I think it's gonna be close.
So if Soto, you got Vladdy at 3, Soto at 2.
Yeah.
All right. So there's a chance that someone takes the lead there. I only have Soto at 1. The next we have the Mets over under. What was it? 4 wins.
3.5.
3.5 wins.
3.5. Yeah, the first week.
See, 2 days ago I had them at over. I had them at 4. I'm gonna give them an under here, Sean. I'm gonna have them at 3 wins. I have them winning the series over the Nats 2-1, and dropping to the Phillies 1-2. I'm sorry, 2-2 to the Nats, the 4-game series, and then losing 2 out of 3 to the Phillies. What are you thinking there?
I'm with you. If DeGrom never got hurt and Scherzer didn't have his issues, I would have taken the over. But I don't know. The under is looking good. Although the Mets always start out hot no matter what year it is. But there is a potential they have a bullpen game opening day because everybody's been pitching to their exact days. And if Scherzer is not able to pitch opening day, I think they're going to have a bullpen opening day, which just makes me want to cry inside. I think it's under. The Nationals, even though they're not the best team, they always give the Mets struggles. And you still got to get Juan Soto out, and that man, he hit a home run every time he's up there. You're losing. Even though I think he's only getting 2 in the first week. This might bite me in the ass, and he might have 4 in the first 2 games. I don't know. But
do you have any series predictions? 4-game series and a 3-game series versus Philly. What do you think?
Against Philly, I think I don't want to have the same as you. I think they take 3 out of 4 from the Nationals and then get swept by the Phillies. I hope that doesn't happen, but
I like that.
I don't, but
right. I'm sorry. And what was the last one?
The last one we have is over under 6 innings for Clayton Kershaw.
What do you have? You going first?
I have under. I think he's going 5 2/3.
Yeah.
I think he's just going to fall short of 6.
And I was sitting here like, because we tried to make these over unders like at exactly what we think they're going to do.
Yeah.
So we tried to like betting lines. I was like, God, I think he's going like 5 2/3. I said, you know what? He's Cy Young this year, Sean. We're going to go over. I think he pitches 6 innings exactly. So 1 more out, I think he gets over 88 pitches. How many pitches do you think he gets, Sean?
I think he gets 90 to 95 pitches. I think they're going to ease him back into it. It's part of the reasons why I think he's going to be under, because I don't think they want to risk his arm in the first start for the whole season.
Yeah, that's what I don't think they let him get to 90. So I'm saying 88. But I think this guy, Sean, he's just automatic with it. He's so, I can't think of the word, efficient. Good. He's so efficient,
He is.
Yeah. So that's our picks to click. Leave your picks down below. What do you think? Clayton gets 2 innings, 7 runs, get bounced. You could say that. That's fair. You get some points if you get right.
Absolutely.
Anything else, Sean? Do you know what we're doing next week yet? Or we don't know?
We don't know. We're flying by the seat of our pants.
That's right.
That's how we like it.
A lot of ideas. Don't worry about us having limited ideas. We just haven't decided what we want to do first because we got so much. I'm happy to be back, Sean. Are we ready to get this regular season started? 4 days away, folks. 3 days for you. Opening day. The Mets are going to have Edwin Diaz on the mound. Start off.
I pray to God it's Max Scherzer. Plus, it's against the Nationals, so it'd be even better. He'd be juiced up, ready to go. But it's the Mets, so maybe not. On another note, the Mets are having a Old Timers Day this year, much like the Yankees do. And Yoenis Cespedes will be in attendance. He will be playing in that game. So will Bartolo Colon, actually.
That's filth.
That's great. But Cespedes didn't exactly have the best end to his Mets career. And I'm surprised he's coming back to play this because they were at odds at one point. But
I didn't realize he had officially retired.
I don't think he has. And honestly, this might be a tryout.
Because I drafted him last year as a flyer. I was like, listen, last time he played, he was good.
Yeah, he hasn't officially retired, I don't think. But he had a couple of workouts last year, and I guess they didn't go well because he didn't get signed after him.
If he's playing in an old timers game, that's not a good sign for his current career.
I don't even think the guy's 35. I think he's like 33 or 34. That's
what I'm saying. I didn't think he was. Maybe he's 35 now.
He's got to be like taking the head off some 90-year-olds out there in the field.
He can't. No, they're not playing. They're playing actual baseball or softball.
I think so. Yeah, they're playing a game. Yeah.
He's too good still to be playing baseball against these people, Sean.
How old is he? Did you look it up?
30. He's 36. But Nelly's 41. Okay. I don't think they should allow that. He's gonna get someone hurt. In 2020, he still hit 2 homers in the major leagues.
Yeah.
That's 2 years ago. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, God bless you, Yoenis. Have fun.
He's gonna really show out there. He might even get injured just for old time's sake.
I'm afraid he's gonna injure somebody else for the first time.
As long as there's no wild boars out there on the field, it'll be okay.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I'm sorry. But I think that's all we have here this episode. We will see you next Monday as well. Get tuned in for what it's going to be. Maybe Sean will even post on Instagram midweek what you should be looking for. A little sneak preview.
Absolutely.
Anything else you got for him, Sean? Otherwise, we're going to stop pointing.
The best time of year starts this week. Watch baseball. Enjoy it. Opening day is the best. Everybody's got a clean slate. Everybody's in first place. And Juan Soto is going to be playing, which is a beautiful sight. Unfortunately, it's against the Mets, so I might cry a couple times, but
I'll be watching Mets baseball this year.
Yeah.
I love that.
Let's go. Like, subscribe, comment down below. Give us your predictions for the year. Who wins the division? Who wins the World Series? Anything. Anything. Just comment. Subscribe.
Rate your favorite giraffe 1 out of 10.